Park Board, Monday, January 13th, now in session. The first thing we need to do is the approval of the agenda. Do I hear a motion that we approve the agenda?
I'll make a motion, we approve the agenda.
I second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed. Okay, so the second thing what we need to do is the approval of the November 6th meeting minutes. Did everybody get a copy of that?
Electronically, we got it, I think.
No, I did not. Well, did I?
Pretty sure I got one electronically. And I just thumbed through it, which is fine.
I'll approve it, but I don't know.
I need a motion first. Somebody has to make a motion that we approve the minutes. So I make a motion that we approve the November 6th minutes. Any seconds?
Yeah, I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. All right, then, let's see what these are. Because we had a meeting, sign here, sign here. Oh my God, we have 3 sets of meeting minutes here. Let's see. She said we only needed to approve the November 6th, so yeah, these were already approved. Okay, so these I'll handle after.
Check to see if Burke was on. That goes back 3, right? 2, there's 2.
No, he was here.
Which one was
The
that?
test, that was the October.
Okay.
He actually attested to it. It was dated November 6th. Let's see. Yeah, right here it says he was here.
For November 6th?
That was the October. So hold on.
Didn't we have 2 in November? I don't know. I just remember
September's, he was here, so he's present.
Yeah,
So September, October, he's here. Hold on. Roll call quorum present. Yeah, he's here. No, he's not here. Yes, he is. He's absent. So he wasn't here for November's. It has to be 3 consecutive.
yeah. I thought it was 3, sorry.
No.
That was November?
Yeah, because here.
Because didn't we meet twice in November?
All I have is what Patty gave me. I don't think we met twice in November.
Was it twice in October? We met, I
It was
know.
twice in October.
And that you,
Because we had the children, the Halloween trunk or treat, we were trying to put that together, wasn't it? Yeah,
I don't-
November we did not.
I remember there was one month where it seemed like we were meeting every other week.
Yeah.
That was before September, I think,
Okay,
too,
so
right?
Here's
August. Yeah.
November's. It's not. Here is. September 5th, he is. Here is. October 5th. He is.
Okay. It just seems like I haven't seen him in a long time. I mean, really, I see Rick all the time. He
Yeah.
always comes.
Yeah.
And for a number of times, I thought it was just you and I and Rick.
Yeah, there you go.
Really. That's why I thought he was missing.
So you can have 3 people to have a quorum?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Yes. So we have a quorum. So,
Okay.
Right, 'cause- Yeah.
There are
she's-
5 permanent members, so 3 is a
Right,
quorum.
yeah, 3 is a quorum, yes. She's an alternate, the new person is an alternate. So, I did invite her to come, so she was here. Yeah. Okay, so we approved the minutes for November 6th, correct?
Mhm.
Mhm.
Okay. All right. So the next thing I want to discuss is, I'm going to pass these out. These are the grants for the grant application. I want everybody to take a look at these. We will have another meeting on this because we do have time, just so you know. But we need to take a look at this, and if you all could take some time, bring this with you, and come down here and look at this park yourself, and make some notes, and then bring it to the next meeting, that would be a great thing. George, are you able to do that?
Sure.
Take some notes regarding what we
Some of the
think.
things, see, if you look at this, okay, because there's some of these things that we might end up having to curtail on this, okay, for finances for the city, okay? So I don't know if we're going to be able to do it all, okay? I mean, but I think we should try to prioritize what we think and present it to the council, what we think would be the most beneficial for the city.
So rank them rather than just approve them? Or?
Yeah, I would like to see us rank them.
Okay.
Okay, because remember, this grant was approved by the prior board. I mean, George was on it, but I think we're running into, because they're stating that they're having a lot of flooding issues in certain areas, and they would like to see that addressed within the city. But of course, our goal here, and it is our charge, we are supposed to be representing the parks. So we are to try to push as much as we can. That being said, I also want to discuss the fact that
The grants for the park.
it is for the park. It is for the
Not
park,
for-
but it's a matching grant.
Yeah, but it's not
So
for.
then they have to dip out into city funds. So if
I
we
got you.
decide to spend $50,000 on out of the city's money to get that $50,000 matching grant, then they got to dip into the city's funds.
What was
And
it?
that's the problem. So my thing I'd like to try to do, since we do have time on our side, okay, is to start thinking about kind of think outside the box. Okay, corporate sponsors, okay? See if we can't get some corporate sponsors to donate some money. This has been done
I don't know how that
throughout
works.
different cities within Pinellas County. Corporate sponsors would say,
That's a little
if-
different than matching a grant, though, isn't it?
if they give the money, if they donate the money to the city, we can turn around and use that money to match part of the money in the grant.
And what do we give them in return?
The city would have to, and I'm bringing this in before the council, so after I give you this proposal, I'm going to discuss this to the council. So just so you know, what we would try to get the city to agree to in return is to have a memorial plaque for them. Okay, and then we'll of course have a ceremony once the project is done. Okay, with like a ribbon cutting ceremony. Okay, so I've seen it throughout the county with other cities. They've gotten businesses, personal individuals willing to we'll say a piece of play apparatus equipment. You know, the things with the slides and the swings on them. Okay, and then they get a little plaque for it. Okay, so that's basically what I'm trying to do. If we can get big sponsors, that's fine. But if they would have to commit, though, in order to do that, they would have to commit to like a certain amount of money at least in order to be qualified for basically that plaque. Okay, because we can't have somebody donating $5 and expect them to, get their name on a plaque. But
What about an individual family or someone in the town that would be willing to donate money and, I don't know, they dedicate a slide to them or something in their, you know what I mean?
Exactly, that's
Something
what I
like
was
that.
saying, individuals,
So not-
yes.
Yeah, it's not just corporate, but maybe like a big family.
right,
that
yeah,
sort of thing.
absolutely, yeah, absolutely. So some of them, if you go to some of these other accesses, people did memorials, you know, they did something for those little beach accesses, those little park accesses, and to memorialize a family member, you know. So that's what I'm trying to see if we can do. Of course, you know, the ultimate thing would be to actually try to get big sponsors.
Yes.
Okay? I've reached out to Largo Hospital, and I'm going to continue reaching out to some of the other businesses. But I just wanted to raise it by her. I can't, you know, totally go forward with a complete project without council's approval, but I would just raised it by her to see if she thinks that they might be, you know, there's some rumbling that they might be interested in something like that. So Largo Hospital would be a great thing because we're trying to get exercise equipment. So they're always trying to promote healthy things. So when we talk about the exercise equipment, if we can get something along that line, you know, medical centers, hospitals to basically sponsor those things.
Right.
Okay, and they would love nothing better to say, hey, that we sponsored this, you know, we try to promote a healthy living. So that's my line of thinking for that. And then if we have, you know, there might be organizations out there, boating clubs that might be interested in to help sponsor the fishing pier. You see what I'm saying? So
And a tennis court renovation and you know, clubs, athletic, whatever, I agree.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, but you know, as it stands now, when we were out campaigning, we only talked to 2 people. Now, I'm not saying there's not more, okay? Because I'm sure there is more. But we only spoke to 2 people that actually use our tennis court. I was hearing that other people from other cities were coming over and using it. So that would be to me. Now I'm not telling you all what to do, but to me that would be. I would put that down on the priority list.
As a,
Do,
like lower.
do we
because-
have
yeah.
any means of finding out who uses the courts? I mean, tennis courts?
Yeah, we could
I mean,
do a survey. Here's
that's
the
what
thing.
we should do.
We could do a survey. The only problem is when anytime you do a survey, and I'm just giving you heads up, be prepared that you could get a city hall full of people protesting even doing anything with this park because they want this or that fixed first. And then we would all have to contend with that. So we have to decide if we really want to do that. But we can ask the city manager if he would be willing, and
Send
the
a
council,
survey.
to send out a survey in reference to it, yes. The old city mayor, she was for this park. I don't, know if she's still for it, but I don't have a problem with approaching her and see if she would help try to promote it,
Well, I'm just talking about the tennis courts and who uses them. I mean, I've heard basketball courts are used a lot, but we don't know if they're people from in town or
I
people
would
from
actually
here.
like to see us restructure this grant a little bit, the layout of it. I'm not saying eliminate the tennis courts, but if you take the tennis courts, say this is the tennis courts, okay, these are one court, court 2, right?
Mhm.
And if you just, you only have one tennis court on the backside running this way, we actually could have a driveway leading into that park from the city hall and eliminate cars, which
Going
is part
through
of
Ninth
the
Street.
riff for getting cars coming through the neighborhood to get to that park.
Oh, like 9th Street, yes.
Yes.
So
And then you could
if the tennis courts are primarily used by residents, they'll make us think because they don't want to lose one tennis court.
They might
But
not
if
want
they're-
to lose one tennis court, but they might be okay with just keeping one and being able to at least upgrade it with the.
Well, until we know who uses the court, if it's people from Largo or people from Bel Air Beach,
Right.
then, I mean, it seems to me we need to do a survey and find out when people are on the courts, where they're from.
Right.
And I don't know how
And
quite to
again,
do that
I'm not
survey.
saying eliminate the courts. I think we're Bel Air Beach. We should have at least one tennis court.
What if we put a?
I'm just saying that there's no reason we could not go down to one tennis court and use part of that space to go right through and drive into the park.
Well, all I'm
And
saying is
eliminate-
if the city residents are using that park heavily, they're going to want to keep it the way it is.
I think.
If they're not
yeah.
using it heavily, then, you know, there's no argument, just keep it like it is, we should go to
What
one.
if we put a sheet outside the tennis court and ask whoever plays just to sign their name, or sign up where they're from? That way you'll be able to take a tally of who actually used that court.
Something like that.
Or like
I think
something
would be-
that's waterproof, you know, like a binder or something.
How does it work?
People aren't gonna fill that out that aren't from here, because they don't want us to know that they're not living in our city. I think the best thing would be to do is do the email blast from the city asking, or the survey from the city asking, basically asking, you know,
Do you actually use the tennis courts?
do you actually use the tennis courts?
I guess I'm a little peeved in the sense that I just paid $5 for my new decal. And because we haven't had any price on a decal in a long time, I think 10 years or something.
I paid for mine tonight too.
I wanted to
And
pay
it-
for mine, but they closed up shop.
Well,
It's like-
for years it's been free to residents. And
Well, you know, it
And
actually,
so
the
for the tennis
$5
courts-
actually, the $5 actually breaks us even. The 35 cents is the only profit we make off of that. The city
Well,
makes off of that.
$5
And
is
that
nothing.
covers the
That's not the
employee,
point.
basically.
Why are we doing that for our decals but not the tennis courts? We're just
Oh,
taking.
I agree.
just-
And where are we tracking? My other thing too is we spent this money putting in these parking things. Is anybody tracking that money? Are we still issuing citations for people parking there? Because I have to tell you, I mean, I've seen several people park there and they're not putting the
Well-
money in the thing and paying for parking because they know we're not issuing.
Yeah. But I don't think that's part of Parks and Recreation. But the tennis courts are, and we should know who's using them. We should set up something. I mean, even if it's just a matter of people have to check in before they use the courts,
There's
check
a
in this
parking meter
someplace.
right out here in this park. There's a parking meter right out here in this park. There's a parking meter down at our
So we do,
arena.
it
go
does
under
affect
parks,
us.
Yes.
Some of them do.
So there is some revenue.
Okay.
Now, people do pay.
No, I'm not concerned about the revenue as far as that. I'm concerned about who's using them. If we're just maintaining tennis courts for people in Largo, that doesn't make any sense to me.
Right,
Same thing with the basketball court. We
Right.
just renovated that, it's very nice. And if we're just doing that for people in Clearwater, not for people in Bel Air Beach, that doesn't make any sense to me. So we
yeah.
need
I
to,
agree.
we need to
A
find out.
check-in would be, I mean,
Some-
you're saying they're not gonna log in, but what about somehow making it mandatory to check in before you get into the court? I
Yeah.
don't know how, but I think that's a great idea.
Put a
You
lock
know,
on the gate and
A code,
they-
a code on the gate, you
Yeah.
know, lock
Yeah.
gate. Yeah.
Yes.
But you'd always
And
be-
that way you can definitely tell if people are using it and who's using it or whatever. That's a
Well,
great
I mean,
idea.
that's
And
something that
here's something
maybe,
else.
I hate to say this, but Lynn could maybe, or not, somebody on his staff maybe could work out some logical way of finding out who's using them and to what extent they're being used.
Right.
And it's basketball court and it's the tennis court. And the tennis court would be important for what you
Right.
said, if we want to roll it over and make access through there.
Right,
It's $22,500 to renovate it. Why would we spend money out of the budget if not a lot of people from the town are using it?
Yeah.
So this money alone validates the reason to check in for having people, I don't know if it's
we
gonna cost
have,
money.
I've been here many times. People pull in and they do not have that Bella Beach sticker, and they go over there and play.
In the
I've
tennis
seen them with
courts?
the Indian Rock sticker, yeah, and go over there and play tennis, right? So,
yeah.
you know,
But if we can justify the reason for not renovating it because we put a lock on the gate or code or whatever, and not one of, I don't know, like 5 people accessed in the last so many months, this justifies the reason not to spend this money because no one's using it.
right,
Yeah.
So we can prove that to the town.
right, right.
Or else put a fee on it for the people, for non-residents.
Right.
Yeah.
Not, it doesn't have to be a big fee, it's just,
No, right.
just something to
Well,
distinguish them
You could
from.
use it, if you're a non-resident, you would like to use it, come in and pay the employee walks out and unlocks the gate for you, you have X number of time.
Yeah.
But what if it's a weekend?
We
Because
can-
that's when most of them use it,
Can't
on a
help that,
weekend.
because we don't have employees on duty on the weekend, would be residents only.
And there's
We
a
have
gate,
code.
but there is a way of putting a code into the,
Yeah, you can put a
Yeah.
code thing on, but it
Okay.
is expensive to buy one of those.
And you'd have to rotate it all the time, because once the numbers are out, people know
Yeah.
their number, they just do it once.
Yeah, they tell their friend, hey, I'll give you the code.
right,
Yeah.
right.
So.
It's something I think we need to look into,
Mhm.
how to best utilize that piece of land.
Okay.
And I think we've already renovated the basketball courts, I know, but
What,
I'd like to know who's
Well,
using
and
them.
I
don't have a
actually
problem
seen a
with-
few people playing ball there, but what I have seen though is parents have brought their little kids down on those little battery operated cars
Mhm.
and they're driving them around the court. So it's being used for a couple other things too, which is cute, but I mean, so it is
Yeah.
being at least used by our residents, so, that I can honestly say it is being used by our residents. I don't know if the ones playing basketball are our residents, but I'm sure the ones with the kids with the little cars, because I've seen them coming down the street,
Sure.
walking in, so,
Maybe we should make a path for them, looping around or something. I mean, really.
yeah.
I mean, if that's what our residents want and need, we should.
Yeah. Well, and then here we are, the bathroom. Now, here's the thing. Now, I don't know, this is something I would have to talk to Lynn about, and I am gonna meet with him, but if we take money for the bathroom, if we don't take money for the bathroom, it cuts down how much money we're gonna get. Okay? But on the flip side of that, okay, we actually, if we could find a private source to fund one toilet, it would be a unisex toilet, one toilet, okay? Resident only, code, or only turned on, say, when this office is open. And if we take federal money, we have to leave it open to the public.
Mhm.
If we own it ourselves, the city owns it ourselves, so we
Well,
get private money for that.
this is all
then
federal
we're not
money.
regulated. We're not regulated, see? So if we got money for the bathroom from a private company or something, just for that bathroom only, and not use the grant money for that whatsoever, okay? Then we're not regulated. We can do our own hours on that bathroom. So say, for instance, when we have events for our residents and stuff, then we will have an outdoor facility for them to use, okay? And then, it can be unlocked for that. So it just.
But any money we accept here for any of this stuff opens it to the public.
It does open it to the public, because if you go to Morgan, it opened up Morgan too, because we got the beach renourishment
Sure.
money, so, yeah.
What is the total amount of funds grant? Did they give us a total, or is it, do we know the total amount of the grant?
You don't know, I don't think that, you don't know until they commit
We got a
on all these things.
$200,000 grant.
Right, which means they will match $200,000 that we
Right,
spend, so
right,
for
so
a
the
total of
city-
$400,000.
Right, correct. So
Okay.
the city would have to come up with that $200,000. So our goal is shoot for 200, and whatever we get underneath it, we'll take. But we want to definitely try to shoot for that 200,000,
Right, okay.
And we actually have a lot of residents that do have businesses within the city.
Mhm.
I mean, a lot of them. So, we need to be, as a board, trying to talk them up and tell them, if they're looking for some ways to donate some money, this would be a great thing. So, I guess just so we know, I guess I'm gonna do the minutes as well today, because we don't have somebody taking minutes, so I'm doing double duty, so I just want to put that on the record that I'm doing the minutes too. Now, George, would you like to take the minutes?
Not particularly.
Yeah, me either, but okay. Somebody has to take them in.
Really,
Lisa's
they take
not
them-
going. I already know that. I
They
know.
take themselves, really.
I know, but I think we have to type them up. I'll get with Patty and ask.
But don't go in great detail, keep it generalities.
Yes, generalities, that's all we're required to by law. So, okay.
We had some secretaries that were so good, they got abused for being good.
yeah.
Just go very general.
Generalities. And-
If they want details, they can get the tape.
Yeah. Okay, so when we talk about this grant, so the exercise equipment we talked about, we thought that maybe some health providers or something might be good for getting the revenue dollars to cover that. So, you look at it and they were slating, it's gonna cost $10,000 for that equipment. So if we can get a healthcare provider to come up with $10,000, then the grant would cover the other 10. I don't know, what is this Clearwater Beach renovation? What is that?
Where's,
Is that Saltwater Beach? I think
Or
that's
is that
Saltwater.
Saltwater,
That's
yeah.
what I was-
That's
that's what I was
the-
looking at it too, yeah.
that's the
Yeah.
beach right out here.
Yeah, no, okay.
Right here it's referring to, right?
Right.
Yes.
Okay, they had cut it off.
It confused me a
She put
little. I
holes on
thought
it.
saltwater meant the other side.
Right.
She punched it so we can put it in our books, is what
Right,
it is.
okay.
Yeah, so that's what she did. She just accidentally.
Let me just back up for 1 second because I wanted, we talked about new meeting hours. Do we need to vote on the new meeting hours of 4:30 or just do
No,
it?
no, because if we vote on it, if we vote on it, there was, kind of lots of, and we're not required to anyhow.
Okay,
So we'll discuss it
So-
per meeting.
so we're
Okay?
going to
And
4:30.
we'll all discuss it per meeting for the next meeting. So I'm looking at the 3rd, February 3rd
Okay.
at 4:30.
If that's okay with George. I mean,
If
I
that's
don't-
okay with you,
if-
George, will that work?
I could be
Let me-
late. I just want to put it out there that I might be late if it's a 4.
That's
I mean,
Monday.
I'm pretty flexible usually unless
Okay.
one thing I'm pulling out. Here's what I want. I'm trying to check my calendar. February 3rd is, 3rd, did you say?
Mhm.
It's a Monday. Okay.
Correct.
Yeah, it looks fine.
Okay, 4:30. All right. All right, so when we look at this, see, they have $30,000 slated, which means that bathroom's gonna cost us $60,000. I mean, that's a lot of money to be opening up, and for $30,000 is a lot, for us to be putting out is a lot of money for a bathroom. I don't know why we can't try to cut that in half and maybe go to a 1-bathroom facility or
It's probably cost $50,000 to do one and 60 to do two. I mean, it's one of those deals
Probably,
where
yeah,
the startup
probably,
cost and
yeah.
it's,
Is this a freestanding bathroom? Like, where would it be attached
it would
to
be,
somewhere?
you know this, do you remember where the food vendor was? The guy here was with the food vendor? It would be to the side of it, right up against the building is what they were talking about.
Okay.
yeah.
And the plumbing would be easily accessible that
Yeah,
way?
because,
Okay.
because they could just tie in.
Yeah, there was water right there.
Yeah, it was water right there.
Couldn't work, but
Huh?
it didn't work for us for a while.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just saying it probably doesn't cost much for the second bathroom.
Well, something to think about. I actually would have liked to, I know that we have to have it down here because but the tennis court is actually part of the park. It's written into this grant. I don't know why we couldn't even try to build the bathroom facilities over here, and that would also get it away from some of the residential homes as well and put it out in the open. And why I'm saying that
It's
is
probably
because
plumbing, though.
I was standing out here one day, one afternoon, and there was a couple getting ready to neck, okay? And so
In the parking lot?
over here on the bench, okay, so now it's trucked up, okay, so the city took care of it, but, so my guess is things like that can happen, so the bathroom would be to be like in a wide open space, I guess I want to say. You know, you don't want it, if it's up against the building, it's,
Right.
if you take a look at it, if it's up against his building, there is no sight down that way to it. Obviously, there's no sight behind it. So, you know, it's kind of a concealed situation. I
don't know, bathrooms are always gonna be a problem.
yeah.
And would you have a key to it, like, or a code? Because if
Well,
anybody
it was
walking
supposed to
could
be,
come in
it
there.
was supposed to be a code, and it was also gonna be a time lock.
A what?
A time lock.
Oh, okay.
You know, open up at, say, 8 a.m. or 9 a.m., and then it locks at 4 or 5.
Dusk or
Mhm.
whatever, yeah.
Yeah, it's on a timer,
Uh-huh.
so.
I just would think 2 is a better idea than 1. I just have a feeling about that. I don't know.
Yeah, okay. And the other thing I wanted to take a look at is the parking lot renovation. I'm not so worried about renovating the parking lot as I am trying to make it more, more use-friendly.
You're talking
For the
about
time being.
tennis court
It says,
area?
parking lot renovation contractual services, so I'm assuming he's probably thinking about asphalting, probably putting
Oh, I
asphalt down
see.
for the parking lot over here. The shell, as far as I'm concerned, works fine for now. I mean, I think we should make it more, the rest of it so it can be utilized by the citizens first, and then maybe do a parking lot down the road. You know, I just, again, when I'm thinking about these,
So where is the actual parking lot?
for the park is those where we have the vendors set up out here.
Just on the side of the,
Yeah,
that's it?
yeah, yeah. And that is actually gonna cost $20,000. So that's $20,000 that we
To get
could-
that paved.
To get that paved.
Yeah, I kind of like it unpaved.
I do too.
I do
Does it
too.
have a curb around it or
It has
not?
a little curb, and then you get, and then there's those bumper things, so it's set up as a parking lot, it is set up as a parking lot, so
I don't think there's anything wrong with that.
each bumper thing designates it its
Spot.
own spot, right, correct. So, I mean, that would, to me, be like down on the bottom of the list,
Mhm.
And what
okay?
about the bocce ball court? Is there a big and large interest in the population here to play bocce ball?
I don't know the answer to that. When we were designing this park, we went through what kind of activities people might want.
Well,
And I suggested, well, there are older people and
bocce and.
bocce is pretty big with older people.
It is. but
I don't know if they would use it or
You know
not.
what, it would be nice, I think, would be shuffleboard. That's fun, for young and old.
Shuffleboard and bocce are just about the same layout.
Is it? Yeah, so you could maybe use one for,
Use them interchangeably or something?
I think you probably could.
yeah.
I don't know the answer to that, but
I don't know anything about bocce, but I've heard several people say that they would like bocce. I don't
Yeah.
know anything about bocce.
Right.
I've never even seen it played, I don't know how it's done,
I've got my own bocce balls, so, from
Oh,
Italy.
Okay.
I haven't used them in years.
Oh, okay.
But if, I live on 20th Street. If it were on the 20th Street Park, I'd probably use them a lot.
Oh, okay.
I'm just saying that, people, it's just like shuffleboard. Once you get into it, it's just real easy to do and doesn't require a lot of paraphernalia. You just have to get a bucket with the bocce balls in them and go to the court.
See, I think people could start their own leagues if we have the bocces and we have the shuffleboard.
Mhm.
People in our town could start their own leagues, put it together, and just play.
Mhm.
Just play. I think that would be a good thing, and that you could
That's the
have
kind of
kids-
thing you'd like to
kids
see at
leagues,
the
you could
fall
have adult-
festival, and if we have other festivals,
Yeah.
it's available.
Yeah.
You can have a little contest, family against family or team against team,
Right.
or sign up and
Mhm.
be on a team.
Yes.
Right.
That's a great idea.
Yeah.
And it's an activity. It's a recreational activity that.
Well, and next
We're
time
supposed
too,
to be
we'd like to
doing.
have some, when we do that, like to have some carnival kind of games, just those kinds of games.
Sure.
And again, we have to change it around all the time. You have to keep it fresh, but that was my thinking for next time, is to do some carnival kind of games, so,
I think it's a great idea.
yeah. And then-
Yeah, I was a little surprised that the price tag, well, it's only $2,500, so I guess it's not bad.
Well, and, you know, the city manager said some of the employees, I guess, can do some of this.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah,
I
it-
played bocce with my high school buddies, not even on a regulation court, just, all it is a little ball, you throw it out, and then you take times like horseshoes, you take turns, who gets closest to the little ball.
Oh, is that what it is?
That's all it is.
Yeah. It's almost like bowling a little bit, but not quite hitting the target.
Yeah, you
or
bowl
whatever.
it, you
Yeah.
roll it up to that little ball, and you have a choice. You can either roll it and hit the ball away so it's further away from somebody else, or
Okay.
roll up close to it so it's close to you.
Kind of like,
and then-
almost like somewhere where so you could knock it out of the way, kind of like croquet. Remember, did you ever play croquet?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's got a lot of that in it.
Yeah.
It's, what is that thing they have on the Olympics where they have the ice things there? Yeah. Roll what do they call that thing? Down the ice, and they have brooms and they're sweeping it.
Oh, it's.
It's very similar to that.
yes.
You try to get the
Yes.
closest to
What's
us.
the name of that sport?
Yeah, well, I can't think of it
But I
now.
know what you're talking about, yes.
Whatever.
Yeah.
It's very simple because you don't need much equipment.
All you need is a flat lawn.
Yeah.
That's all you
Right.
need, right?
Yeah.
Grass.
I mean, these leagues they have, there are dimensions to those. They have a certain width, they have to keep it in a certain distance. all
Curling.
that. Curling, that's right.
Kingdom yells, that's the name of the sport. It's in the Olympics.
Oh, okay.
Anyway, it's a simple game, and I don't know. It's not a big
That sounds good.
expense.
I like that. It's a great idea.
I think so too. So,
If they could do something with a shuffleboard right there, or have it next to it, or
yeah,
on the same spot, that'd be great too.
yeah, I think so too. I think, both of those would be great for young and old.
Mhm.
That's the key here. If we can make the park, appealing for both age groups, would be the
Yeah.
greatest thing. The greatest thing.
Is
I
it,
mean-
what about the playground renovation? Is there still consideration, well, obviously it's consideration, but is that being taken seriously or is that being kind of on the back burner?
Well, that's part of this grant, so we would have to get, the playground area really does need renovating. It's bad. I mean, I remember when the other unit was there, and I brought my granddaughter down to play, and, it was broken, it was rusted or something, and I didn't know if they knew it, and I kind of reported it, and they said, oh, well, they're taking it out, and I'm like, oh, are they putting one back in? Well, there's plans, and I'm like, okay. No, this was after I first moved in,
Mhm.
like five plus years ago, but
A lot of us residents, when the children are too small, we, honestly, I'll be honest, none of us, the families don't like it. It's so small and like things falling apart. So we'll go to the Bel Air one, that's back of the, next to the police station. You know where
Mhm.
that is, next to E&E,
Yeah.
right in Ducky?
Yep.
That's a nice one. I mean,
It is a
everything's,
nice one.
and they have a bathroom there, you can go, it's for
Yeah,
the
right.
yeah, 'cause
children.
they
have to go.
unlock it during the day, and then they close it back up.
So maybe if we could somehow make it like that, like the, maybe.
It should be like trying to get something for like all age groups
Yeah.
when it comes to the kids, when you do the play apparatuses and
Yes.
things like that.
And they have a seesaw
Yeah.
in there and swing sets. So if you have a sturdy enough equipment,
Right.
you could,
But remember though, we
older and
have
younger.
a condensed area here.
Right.
So,
Right.
but we can't totally restructure this whole thing because I think then that would kick us out of the grant. So
Mhm.
we have to be careful. I think we have
Right.
to stay pretty much within what was already previously discussed. I'm going to meet with Lynn and ask him about that. So, those are some of the things I'll be asking him about. But yeah, I take my granddaughter. We just went to Largo Park, so
Yeah, that too.
That's a great park,
It
Largo
is.
Park.
I love Largo Park.
But it gets real crowded, that's the problem.
It gets real
Yeah.
crowded. Yeah.
But it's so, I don't know, it's so neat and clean, and
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, and that's the other thing too, you know, is when we think about these grants and we're trying to do these things, we want to set it up so it's successful. But on the other hand, we want to try to keep it low maintenance,
Right.
because when it's low maintenance, okay, it's less costly, okay?
Right.
So when we're all thinking about these kinds of things, that's something we need to be. So when you're prioritizing this stuff, you know, keep that in mind as well. So, all right, anything else we want to talk about that? Please just make sure if you can come down here and take a look at that before the next thing. And then if you have anybody you know that might be interested in sponsor or something, you know, or you hear some rumblings, you know, bring that to the next meeting on the 3rd. So, you have anything else, George, on that?
No. I'd like to know more about what the plan is for the tennis court renovation is. I mean, somebody has to have done some stuff on that in order to come up with a
I'll
number.
tell you what, I'll make a note of it and get with Lynn on that.
Because we don't, I suspect they're talking about resurfacing it and doing stuff like
Yeah,
that.
he said that, I remember he said resurfacing and fence. I don't know what else.
Fence?
Yeah, fence.
It has a fence.
Supposedly it's gonna need replacing.
Okay.
So as far as prioritizing, you want us to prioritize the primary facilities under one heading and then the support facilities under another?
Yeah, that's what I would
Okay.
do. Yes, absolutely. Okay, so let's talk about a car show. Let's go on to the next thing, discussion of the car show. So when we talk about the car show, we had some things left over from the kids' Christmas, some items. I don't have an accounting yet. I'm supposed to be getting those from Patty. I asked her after the council meeting. Some of that stuff was exchanged. Because when you do the car shows, you have little goodie bags you give the people that are participating in the car show. And it has like chamois and Armor All wipes and all those kinds of little things in it. So we've already exchanged some of that stuff to use for the car show. And of course, we know we already have the trophies. Largo Medical Center had said they would be interested in sponsoring the car show. I've been approached by 4 or 5 businesses that would like to set up tables at the car show. We do not want to go supersonic. I'm thinking 5 at the most tables. And then I was approached by somebody who wants to have, so we would have to go one more thing past the 5 though, just so you know, and just do, and I always like to do a charity like this. The Wounded Warrior would like to come and set up a table, and I think we should do it. Somebody's going to pay for their fee so they can have a table set up. And I was thinking $25 a table for this
Just like
event.
just like the other event.
Right, well, the other was 50.
Oh, okay.
And it'd be 25 for everybody, so
Oh,
there'd be,
okay.
everybody would just be 25 across the board.
Tell me about the car show. I mean, I've never been to a car
Okay,
show, so
that's
I have no idea what to expect.
Okay, so what we would do is we'd pick the years that we were allowing to participate from, we'll say, the oldest show, we'll just say to the beginning of time, car, okay, until we'll say 1970s or 1980s, and that would be the cutoff. So any cars from X number to X number, okay? Then we would give a date that the car show is going to, we'll just say, I'm just going to say it's tomorrow. The car show is tomorrow. Everybody would have had to turn in their stuff, you know, let's say the car show is next week, I'm sorry. And everybody would have had to turn their stuff in, say, this past Monday that wants to enter. That way, we have time, because there's a week turnaround time for the trophies. We have the trophies, it's just changing the nameplates out. That's what we would get the sponsorship for.
How many cars? I mean, you certainly
We're
wouldn't
looking
do
at-
100 cars or
No,
anything like
25.
that. So, and where would they be?
Over here at the park.
In the park area?
They would be parked in the park.
Do you have a
There's
limited
cars,
amount?
the cars that are showing will be in the park. Anybody coming to see them because the street will be blocked off, will be parking at City Hall and to come see the cars. And it's a Sunday afternoon. The council has approved it for a Sunday afternoon. And we're looking at, if you pull your calendars out, the council has approved it to be either March 22nd or 29th. What do those dates look like for you all?
So far in advance, I don't know if I'll be alive then anymore.
29th looks good
March.
for me.
I like the idea of the 29th. And it would be from 2 to 5, it's 3 hours.
March, what?
29th.
Why, and just for curiosity, why was Sunday picked? Like, why would this felt
A
it
lot
would
of
be-
car shows like it.
Okay.
Companies like to do
Okay.
it on Sundays.
Okay.
And it seems like it's a nice, family, laid-back kind of event.
Okay.
And, yeah, and we want to do it March before, our winter residents go back, because when we were out campaigning, you'd be surprised how many collector cars are in the city. Okay?
Right.
So it would be the first 25. And here's how I would approach it. Okay? City
So we're talking-
residents
wait,
get first dibs.
First
City-
25.
First 25. City residents, okay, will get first dibs, okay? And then the filler would be anybody outside the city after that, okay? Everybody will need to have their registration in. Okay, city residents will need to register though 2 weeks in advance, okay? Or, no, actually 3 weeks in advance, 3 weeks in advance. And then non-residents will have that extra week, and that gives us, so that way we know how many residents are registered first. We gave them first priority. And then any extras after that, we can fill in with non-residents. There's one guy that I know of that has 5 collector cars in the city, okay, and his garages. Okay, and he said he would want to do it. You have a council member that has a collector car. I mean,
But you wouldn't be able to bring 5, like it's only 25 limit, so you'd have to, I would say revisit like.
well, he's a resident though.
But the thing is, like what happens if other residents, like say there's 20,
Oh yeah,
Four
no,
other
no,
residents
no.
that have a
Actually,
car.
he has 2 that usually rotates into shows. He only has
okay.
2 of those he takes to shows.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he only has 2 that he takes to shows. And then I know there's a couple Corvettes in the city, 4 or 5 Corvettes in the city. Couple classic cars. So, 4 Corvettes in the city. So,
Couple Ferraris, I think.
couple Ferraris.
Maserati, I think.
Now, would they,
And
those
if
are
you
allowed,
know where
right?
those are or where they reside, we're going to ask when I get the flyer done up if you can put one on the door. and see
Now, if the
it's-
Ferrari or the Maserati are newer, would that be accepted, like say, I don't know,
We-
2015
Oh, yeah,
or
those are
whatever?
pretty new cars, the ones I've
Yeah.
seen.
Yeah, what we
Have
do
to
is
be
we just
old.
make it a separate car class.
Yes.
We make it a separate car class. So, and again, that's another reason why you want to have,
So the show essentially would be open to the public to view the cars,
right,
but the cars themselves are in a competition.
are mainly residents, but if we still have spots open, then we would actually.
No, but they're competing for trophies,
They are competing for
and there's some
trophies.
judging, obviously, that has to
Right,
go on
right.
to
Who would be
say.
the judges? They'd have to pick like some car connoisseur who would be the judge.
Well, we've asked a couple council members too, but yes, some car connoisseurs. I'm going to reach out to couple car clubs and see if they, we have to also have them sign a waiver when they come. And so I've already mentioned that to
Okay.
the city attorney, so he's aware of that.
Because you know how these car people are, they're just, they want to be judged by a real car connoisseur, you know what I mean? Not just some
Oh, yeah, I know.
council, they're real picky.
Right, yeah, no, I know. So that's what I'm thinking is from 2 to 5. So what we would do is, we'll have that February 3rd meeting, so that will be something we'll be working on. Okay, the goodie bags are gonna just be a hodgepodge of stuff that we're gonna give each car that enters. The trophies we already have, and so we're just going to switch out the plates, the name plates
How,
of those to distribute. Everybody will get a trophy. Everybody gets a trophy. Okay, but then
So-
it's certain, but there's certain classes, like you'll have first, second, and third, say,
So how many classes, there's 25 cars, how many different classes are there going to be?
well, and that's what we'll have to come up with. Again, I'm gonna get with the car club and
There's a
have them give me a
muscle
little
car,
bit.
and then there's an antique car. I don't know, because
Yeah.
my husband's a car person, so
Yeah.
he's in the muscle car group.
Yeah,
there's
and
an
maybe your
antique car
husband would
group.
be willing to work on that with me.
He probably would.
That would be great if you could ask him.
I'll
I
ask
would-
him.
But, yeah, that would be great. Yeah, so we would just have different classes of cars. So you would, at the late, I think they have late model, I think is one of the classes. So I just would do my, like I did with the festival, I just do my homework so I know. I've been to many of them, but I've not put one on. So.
And what about like food vendors, that sort of thing? Are you gonna have
Okay,
anything like that, like
so-
drinks or
No,
whatever?
I was thinking one food vendor and maybe one kind of dessert kind of vendor.
Okay.
Okay. I saw Polar Ice. Have you ever had a Polar Ice? It's kind of like, I think, a
It's a
Kona.
Kona Ice.
It's kind of like a Kona Ice.
Yes.
But it's a business starting back up again. Somebody bought out the thing.
Mhm.
And so I was going to see if they would be interested in it. Reaching out to them. So the food vendor would be, the council was okay with me going. I sent out a mass email, and the first food vendor that gets back with me, that's how we choose. Because it's a 2 to 5 event. It's not a huge event. It's not like a festival, so we can't have a bunch of food.
Right.
It's just not going to work. So we have one food vendor, and basically.
Yeah, I mean, it's after lunch and before dinner, so it's not,
Right,
it's
it's
just
right.
kind of snacks, I would think, or whatever.
Right, so that's another reason why I thought we just don't need a major, it's such an in-between time.
And it's not like it's going to be brutally hot like last
Right.
time.
Right, and
Right, that's
Councilman, remember Gaddis is offered to do the music, usually have a DJ. So he's got some sound system now, so he's offered to do the music for us, so,
Good. So that'd be like DJ sort of thing.
Yeah.
Speakers.
yeah. Yeah,
Okay.
so, and I'm thinking we'd have him
It's
set
gonna-
up down by the tennis courts on that side.
Yeah, because
So it'd be
last
down in
time,
the center, the music would be more centered.
couldn't hear half the,
Yeah, right.
unless you walk down there.
And what about police presence? Is there going to be anything like that this time too? Like the festival? I mean, it's not going to be as.
We're not gonna have any beers, so we're not required to have any, but the sheriff department always will bring like their SWAT vehicle down for the kids. And, the fire department might bring down I've already got a commitment from the fire department for their antique truck. They've already said that they would bring their antique truck. So, that'll be here for the kids to check out is the antique truck. So, the fire department, the sheriff department probably could just book that little MRAP vehicle, the assault vehicle, and just one of those.
Are they interested or
Who, the sheriff?
yeah,
Oh, they're always interested.
Okay.
It's just I fill out a form online and put in for it. And it's a Sunday afternoon. I don't think we're gonna have really any competition.
okay.
On getting that. So, but it always fails too. We have a city officer, he can always, drive through once in a while. So, we could also have one of those resource officers too be here, and handing out information.
Yeah,
Do
I
a
would
crime
just-
watch. We could do that, then you would have officers here. So
But it
it's
seems like
neat.
all of those things are taking away from the car show part
They
of
are
it.
taken away. So we only want to have, if we just have
Just want one security person.
Yeah, if we have one police officer here doing some kind of information, something, then that's your deterrent, really.
Yeah, just some presence of,
Just some presence, correct.
yeah.
Yeah. So,
That would be
Um,
nice because I don't think a lot of towns have car shows. I don't ever see one advertised on Indian Rocks Beach. they have everything. They don't have a car show.
Right.
So that might be nice, and other towns can come see, check it out.
Right, correct. So.
How are you going to advertise? Is it going to be similar
Well,
to the festival?
the city will do it, I'll put it out on Nextdoor, and then if we want to, we can put an ad in the Bee. Plus, Wayne Ayers has said that he would advertise our events for us. You know, we'd say what's going on, and he'll make sure there's an article in there for us in the Bee, so that helps get the word out in our city. You know, we can basically say, city resident car show, or, you know, we can name it however we want. But I'd like to maybe name it first annual
First annual
Bel Air
resident.
Beach Car Show. You know,
Let's think about that for a while. I mean, because there's probably some wordage that you'd want to use in advertising, vintage cars, or, you know, not
after
just
you-
the,
but if you put in the paragraph below it, cars,
Describe
yeah, and this class will be judged.
Car shows, what that title usually means, only because I know I've been to some of my husband, it usually means it's older cars.
Well, I'm just saying that-
vintage, show-off cars, that sort of thing.
yeah.
Yeah.
But those are the things that people would catch someone's eye, saying, well, this might be interesting. You just say car show, you're not exactly sure what you're
Bel Air
getting.
Beach Vintage Car Show.
Well, I'm just saying, we should think about it and come up with a word that's going to be classy.
Yeah. Classic cars.
Yeah.
Yeah, because that could mean anything, really.
I don't know.
Classic car show.
You should talk to your husband,
I'll
because
ask
he
him.
probably has a better idea,
Okay.
And I'll talk to Joe.
and talk to Joe.
Joe.
Yeah, he
Joe-
would know too, because he's a car guy.
Yeah.
He's a car
So,
guy, too.
yeah, I think that's,
And then I could talk to Councilmember Ben, he's a car guy, and see if he has some ideas
Yeah,
as well.
like what would attract them to go to a car show? How would you name it?
Yeah, because like, we go down, Joe has Corvettes. So we go down to, they call it Corvettes at the Pier. So I like that one. Then the sheriff department actually had a car show one day. I don't remember the name of that one, but, you know, we took one of the Corvettes over there at the sheriff department had one. And I don't remember what that one was. And then, you know, they call it a cruising. Okay, and they have that one in downtown Clearwater, and they have all kinds of cars at that.
cruising is like a parade.
Yeah, but you don't cruise. It just
Okay.
the car.
Oh, is this the one in downtown Clearwater?
Yeah, downtown
Yes, and they have
Clearwater.
a band, that's a big deal. They have
It's a
bands
huge
there.
thing, that's
They have a
everywhere.
big block party.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And it's on a Sunday afternoon too, I think. I
Yeah.
recall.
I think so. I think it is a Sunday afternoon. Yeah. Yeah.
You know, that might be something to think about in terms of a parade of cars. They could parade down Bel Air Beach, and come in, you know, so if people want to see the parade of cars, be out on Gulf Boulevard at a certain time.
Well, that could be the parade of cars leaving, maybe leaving. I was trying to organize that coming in. But if you leaving would be good, and I'll tell you why we would want to do it as a parade of cars, because sometimes these little cars enthusiasts can have a little bit of a lead foot. But if we organize it as a parade of cars leaving
Uh-huh.
and going through the city, it's controlled. The traffic is controlled.
Yeah, I'm just
We
saying.
can have the sheriff physically, our duty, whatever officer's on duty that night, basically, you know,
Lead it or
lead
something.
it, and then
Because-
it's a controlled situation.
Now, remember, it's spring break in March.
Right.
So, as we all know, Gulf Boulevard is bumper to bumper on Sunday.
Yeah, so
Well,
maybe it's not a
primarily
good
coming
idea.
this way, obviously, from
Yeah,
the beach.
right.
So you have to keep that in mind, too.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, what we do is take it that way. We want to take it,
Yeah.
we'll take it to the right.
I'm just, you know, I mean, they're a parade of boats, you know, and all this stuff, and they make a big thing out of a
Right.
parade. It's just, just lining up boats, and then depending on where it is, you know, decorate them or whatever. So, parade, the concept of a parade attracts people.
Oh, I love the idea of having a parade. I actually would like to have a Christmas parade.
I was thinking
and then
that.
end back here and just have a community get together afterwards.
Christmas
Right.
party that,
Yeah,
That's a
Christmas
nice
party like,
idea.
yeah. Yeah,
How
so
about a
what
boat
you do is
parade?
you take that, you know that first road that takes you down to Bay? You know what I'm talking about, the big long one that takes you all
Yes,
the way
Bay
down?
Shore.
Bay Shore.
Yeah.
So you just take that and then we'd have the parade around that back side.
Because that's not very
There is
trafficy at all.
really no traffic, so we just take it down that back road.
It'd be a
Okay.
nice place for the
what are you
parade.
talking about, Bay Shore
It's
Drive?
the Bay Shore Drive, the one that's parallel.
That's what
with
Indian
Gulf.
Rocks does.
It goes from 19th Street down to Morgan, or?
I think so.
Little past Morgan. No,
Yes.
Morgan, that's where it is.
Yeah, and then it curves
Where
off.
the
and
Ferrari
then it
is.
becomes,
Right,
yeah, that would be a nice place.
yeah,
Yeah, it's not trafficked at all.
Yeah, yeah. yeah.
I wanted to ask you too, did you ever look into the, having a Bel Air Beach boat parade?
Okay,
for
so
us?
I did. I talked to the mayor of Indian Rocks Beach, Cookie Kennedy, and she is going to give me the person's name who does it for them. So that way I know.
Because that would be nice, because we could see it from here.
Right,
you know?
right. Now, know that we don't have a boat.
Okay.
Okay, so you would have to have some key people when you organize something like that. And this is something I've learned. I've watched them many times. They used to have a boat.
You know, Dave is a
Yeah.
big boat person.
Right. So
Gaddis.
you'd have to have a commitment from certain people within the city that
Yes.
are willing to be at the helm,
Yeah.
to be in the middle, to be at the end.
Right.
You know, so key people like Dave,
Dave probably
your
would love
husband,
that, yeah.
if Marsh would do it, these are people that would be responsible
Yes.
in making sure
Right.
that it follows through. But if it's a city-sponsored event,
Uh-huh.
okay, I have to check into all the
Yeah.
legalities. I don't want to make a commitment, I
Right.
would say,
I don't know anything,
on the
yeah.
air here until I talk to the mayor's
Indian Rocks
Indian
Beach.
Rocks Beach.
My
all the
son
beaches
used to
do
do
it.
that
Yeah,
down
because I just need to make a list of
Yeah.
if it's doable. Okay,
Yes.
because they have a lot more resources than we do.
Yes.
So.
yeah.
you
It's
know.
kind of, it was fairly
But,
open, I mean, you don't have
We could
to.
join up with them, Indian Shores, and I want to say Indian Shores, and I think Bradenton Shores joins in with them, I think I heard.
And do a
Not
boat,
sure.
a parade of
Yeah,
boats?
just do one big, long,
We could all join up.
all join in together and do one big, long.
And even if they came up here, turned around under the bridge and went back down again.
Right. Of course,
It'd
we'd
be
still
nice,
have
like
to
to
do.
say, you could see it from here.
Right.
We would have to pitch in and do our part, but that
Could
sounds
as long
like
as they
it
all
would be-
came up here.
I don't know,
Yeah.
so, my son used to do the one down in Madeira Beach or somewhere down there. And it was very easy just to hook up. They tell you when it was going to start,
Right.
and you just kind of hang around down there an hour before, and they organize it, and
Right.
then there's fireworks display and the
Yeah.
end, and
Yeah.
Over in Indian Rocks Beach, like every time we try and go, like the only place public viewing for that parade is at Jimmy Iguana's, which is at the restaurant at
Right,
the
right.
Holiday Inn. So, but here, like it's such a great access, you can see all of it for the
Mhm.
town. It would be nice, even if we join up with, Indian
It
Rocks
would be
Beach or
nice, it would
something.
be nice, because we have
Yeah.
all these.
just convince them to
We
do
have
it.
all these park entrances, all these little parks.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, that's right.
And so
all
that
the-
for that
yep.
one night only, we would waive, any tickets, you could have street
Yeah,
parking for that
right.
one night only.
Yeah.
And everybody could.
I bet a lot of people in the town would be interested in doing that.
Yeah,
there's
because
a lot of people
there's a
with
lot of
boats.
boats in our
Yeah.
town. But
Yeah.
again, it's depending on, I don't know how big Indian Rocks is.
Yeah.
Because I just heard that they were teaming up with other groups, so we just have to find out, and, so it's something to think about. So keep that in thought.
So that, we're talking about holiday season or
Right.
something like that, Christmas
Right.
time. And then
And
you
then
could
just have
decorate the boats or something and go. and-
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's what's so nice about it is that no other, I don't think any other state does it. does a boat, like I was thinking California, I don't think they do boat parades. We used to live in California, there's no place to do them. Like, and islands are primarily the places that do something, like Hawaii. I
Right.
don't think I don't think Georgia does, I don't think like we have such an advantage that we actually can do something like that, do a
Right.
boat parade for Christmas. And I think it's so awesome. So I was I was disappointed that we couldn't partake because all the other towns do. So, but I'm sure that we could probably work something out.
I think so too.
Mhm.
You know, if even if we can't join in with them, maybe, you know, I still can get I know I can get my guidance, or she's already said that, you know. So let me reach out to them on both levels.
Mhm.
We actually have a meeting here the end of this week, and hopefully she'll be at it, and then we're hosting it, our city's hosting it. If she's here, I will talk to her then.
We need to, as a committee, I guess, look at the year and decide what we want to do in what times, so we don't have everything bunched up in
You're
one
right.
time
we
and
need
nothing
to
in
look
the
at the
spring.
calendar. Maybe by the next meeting, we can kind of plan all the events throughout the year. Does
Well,
that sound
I
good, or-
think we could lock down the months. I don't, as far as locking down the dates, we can't really lock
No,
down the
but-
dates yet
but the months are
because
important.
they don't have theirs.
Because if we've had, when was our fall festival? Was that in September? It's got to be later this year.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, no,
October, it was
absolutely.
too hot.
Yeah, no,
right.
It's been unbearable.
No.
But anyway,
I
so
was-
if
I
we're
was
talking about
thinking
November, and then
November for
there's
fall festival.
Yes.
for the fall festival.
Beginning of
Yes.
November. I
Yes.
agree.
And I kind of like just the name Fall Festival rather than Festival by the Sea, because everybody's by the sea, but this picks a time that it's in the fall and we can annual fall thing, but that's going to be, I would guess, November. Then we're going to have the parade of boats potentially
Yeah,
sometime
In December, but
December.
it's actually, but that is
And then we
not a
have-
big to do.
It's not a big festival. We
And
just have to organize
here's the other thing
boats.
too. Here's the
No,
other.
but it's part of it.
As
Well,
the
it's
park
part of what the
board-
recreation does on the Parks and Recreation.
Right.
And so if we, even if it's a simple thing, like parade of, and even if we're not involved in it, we can convince them to bring the parade up here so we can see it, you know, but have that on our calendar, and then we have the Christmas, stuff for the kids.
It was
And
very nice, the Christmas, the little.
Yeah, that was.
very
It was very
sweet.
simple.
So we
yeah.
got a lot of things bunched up on the back end, but we're limited then into the spring. And I'm always looking forward to spring because it's kind of the rebirth and getting through winter.
Are you
and-
are you interested in doing a spring, I don't know if festival's the right word, but a small gathering?
Seems like we should
town?
do
Like
something
an
in the
Easter egg
spring.
hunt or something.
Like around Easter or something?
Yeah.
Spring?
I don't know.
What would
It's
you call it,
something.
a festival? I don't know, what would you?
I don't know. I'm
That's
just
an
saying,
idea, I like that.
if we have
Spring
everything
fling.
loaded in December and
Spring fling.
November,
You're right,
and we have
everything- you're right,
nothing
You're right.
in March and
Yeah, we
June
should have
and May.
something.
Well, March would be the car show.
Yep, and then
Okay,
April.
well, that's good then. So we have,
And then May it starts to get hot, so April's probably a good time
Maybe
to
the
do
end of
something.
April, do it as maybe a small spring fling, called a spring fling.
Mhm.
And then we just have, we have
Yeah.
an Easter egg hunt for the kids, maybe have an Easter bunny here, and
Yeah, we could do something like that.
we could just, that could be a picnic. Why
Yeah,
not?
I remember
Why could
one year
not
we-
make that a picnic with an Easter egg hunt?
Yes.
We
that's
could do
good.
that as a community picnic.
down here.
Yeah, down here, we have a couple grills, the city has a couple grills.
Yeah.
They're portable. We could cook hot dogs.
One year we had a big city thing down at Morgan Park, I remember.
Yeah, this park would be better for that.
No, I'm just saying
Yeah.
that's kind of the opening of the beach season or something like that
Right.
would be
So
appropriate to have
are you
it
thinking
in
about
Morgan.
doing it at the beach, like having a get-together?
I'm,
other
I'm
than
just
the-
picking events that would be appropriate for certain times of the year, and kind of when people start really heavily getting involved in the beach. I don't know, 4th of July or something like that, There's so many firecrackers around here. All I do is sit on my back porch and look out.
Yeah, that's true.
Sounds like there's a war going
Yeah.
on. But I guess what I'm thinking about is what can be on the calendar, even if it's not something we're involved in heavily, but just say, here's the recreation throughout the year that Parks and Recreation is somehow involved in it.
I like that.
Yeah.
Uh,
Got a
Well,
calendar
and I have to
go.
tell you that, you know, this is, when we talk about property values and these, they're talking about these storm flooding and, you know, some of the streets, and we're talking about these grants and things like that. We were out here setting up for the festival, Colin and I were standing out there setting up, and this guy had pulled in, we had to open the barricades so other people could pull in. And he had pulled in with, there was 2 cars that pulled in, and they were not part of the festival. And the guy, I said to the guy, I said, the park is closed, we're getting ready to have an event. And he said to me, I'm a realtor, I'm showing her the park, she's thinking about buying a home in this community. He said, will only be a minute. And I said, okay. So when we talk about this grants and we talk about, when we talked about the strategic plan, okay, and things like that, it all falls in line, just like what the realtor was doing, he was showing them this park. He was showcasing this park to help sell a home, okay?
But little did
So
they
we
know
wanna
he's
be-
showcasing recreation.
Exactly. So
For the park.
if you want to be a premier city, you know, and keeping with that theme of the strategic plan and stuff, this is something that we need to be always constantly looking at, okay? But, you
But
know,
if,
we kinda got-
if we have a calendar on one piece of paper that shows this event is in November, this is in December, this is in March, the car show, this is in, you know, beginning of
could
the
do
summer,
that.
May or something like that, and you see
Okay,
there's
so why don't I
recreational
put on the
activities through the whole
agenda
thing.
for next meeting, and be thinking about these things, okay, and bring the calendars. So I will have it on the agenda, just like we did tonight, and we'll set down the calendar for the year. And we're not gonna put the exact dates, we're gonna put the months.
Right.
And the events.
Right.
So that's all we're gonna do. So it'll be
Yes.
our planning, we'll say that that's kind of our planning meeting, okay?
I have a question. So, instead of the, like, if, I don't know if you want to do a 4th of July party, I'm just thinking of the months. Like, either in June or July, we could do like a, I don't know how you feel about this, but is it possible to do like a beach party or a beach get-together and have a, you know, have like a, I don't know. I'm just throwing it out there as an idea. At Morgan Park, I guess, is that the
Yeah,
best
Morgan
place?
Park has benches and has
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And
grills
we could do like
and
a
all
picnic
that.
there too, like at the start of like the summer, like June
Yeah.
or July, and
People
do
could
like
park down at the marina
Yeah.
and then come over,
and that, so like maybe like a beach party or something along those lines for the summer, and then we go into the fall. And October would be another. Did you like that parade last year? The costume, the little children costume parade. Did that go over okay, or do you want?
Oh, they seem to like it.
Yeah.
They seem to like it, and hopefully the word gets out there more so we get more cars participating next time.
Okay.
You know,
Right.
it seemed like a nice little event. You know, we could
Trunk or
embellish it,
treat.
we could add to it and change it up a little bit. Remember, we always want to try to change it up a little bit.
Right.
We don't want to keep it the exact same,
No,
you know.
it's boring, no one wants to
But
go.
I'm never just so, I'm going on the record saying this, I'm never in favor of a haunted house. Because, you know, you start, some kids could get traumatized for it, so we don't want to do that, so, but, I think that, you know, we could switch it up a little bit, maybe just have something besides that, so there's a little more of a time thing. I think the trunk or treat thing was nice because, you know, we had some people that said in the city that they never have any trick or treaters, so then they could just come here and hand out the candy if they wanted to, you know. So I think it's a great option for them. I don't know that we should be doing a Halloween night because I think
No, I don't
it's
think.
like separate events.
Yes, I think that was perfect in the late, early evening,
Right.
and
I do like the events though when they're smaller events. To be honest with you, I kind of like these having them on a Sunday afternoon. You know, before after church, but yet before. Some of them go to evening service or before dinner. So you just do a small event on a Sunday afternoon. You know, I kind of like that. Plus, you know, when we talk about events and things like that, remember, you know, I don't want to keep tying up the city hall. That's my other thing too. Because when we have to tie up the city hall, we're tying up possible revenue. Okay, so we get into certain times of the year and they're might be able to rent this all out for a wedding.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Mays are big.
Well, Morgan
Big
Parks
one
would be perfect.
for
then
weddings.
For the
things-
beach party,
For beach parties.
Right.
or a picnic or
Right.
something.
Yeah,
Right. That would be great. That would be great.
because
So-
there's so many of the facilities there, and then it's the beach, so people don't have to be dressed up, or they know they're
Yeah.
going to the beach, or.
Right.
Right.
And that would be a lot of fun.
Mhm.
And it's hard to get like, if we get a lot of the neighbors together and the children are entertained, then we can talk as an adult. It works out good.
Yeah, put a badminton net up or on the beach or something. And,
Right. So, so we talked about the,
so next time we're going to,
we're going
bring
to
a
do our
calendar.
planning. It'll be our planning meeting, okay?
Okay. And I wrote
I-
a
and
list.
I-
It's a
and-
small little list of
and-
ideas.
Good.
You know, if you know some other people that would like to be on subcommittees for certain things, feel free to bring them, okay? Because we'll take their input and, I, as the board chairman, can do subcommittees, so I can appoint subcommittees, so, you know, if we need extra hands, I can do that. I'm allowed to, it's in our rules. So if you think of somebody who might be, their expertise is something that we could use, let's definitely utilize it. So, the other thing, I want to go back to the car show. I want to
Okay.
get one more thing about the car show. Okay, so I'm delegating, so I need to delegate. So, George, can I get you to maybe be willing to either, could you meet with maybe Kyle or Lynn? I'll set it up
Mhm.
and have them reach out to you. And when the time comes and we just decide what size of trophies and things, would you
Mhm.
be willing to go over, meet them over at the White House and pick out the best ones for the car show?
Sure.
And then they will take them down. All we gotta do is pick them out.
So just have Kyle or Lynn contact me and we'll figure something out.
Right, exactly.
Sure.
Okay, so if you could help them pick them out, then they will take the ones that we choose.
Mhm.
I just need somebody to physically inspect them, make sure they're, you know, because there was a few that were scratched, so we want to make sure we don't, you know, if they're a little scratched, we can slide them in with the kids thing. The kids don't really care, so
Mhm.
so that's, you know, the car show guys, they care,
Okay.
So, I'm probably going to ask Rick to do the parking lot again, the assigned spots with Kyle or Len. I'll get with him on that. If you could, by any chance, get with Dave Gaddis on the music
Okay.
and the sound system.
Yes.
And tell him that we would accept his offer.
Okay.
And
So it's okay, it's appropriate for me to say our
he's not
committee
on your board. Yes, you can.
accept the offer. Okay.
Yes, you can.
Okay.
And ask him what he would need from us. So we need a
Okay.
list of what he would need from us to get from Lynn, or to have set up for that, to do his thing.
Okay.
Okay?
Okay.
All right. Sponsors, anybody want to, I'm just gonna, like I said, a mass email, and whoever hits me first on food and drink.
What about Garvey Bills? I only think about that because Burke knows the owner or something. I'm wondering how.
It's a mass email. I actually have their email, and they're on my Facebook.
Okay.
So, and I've become friends with, you know, but I also have to, you know, we also have a resident of the city that
Yeah.
is with, you know, Sofers with Cody's.
Oh,
So,
okay.
so that's why I said. this
Mass
would-
email, see.
Mass email, whoever answers first, and then it's time stamped, we're good,
Yes.
and that's how I left it. That's how I actually approached it with the council, that covers us all, so it doesn't show any favoritism, we
Yes.
don't, yeah.
Yeah.
So what, do you want to wait till you hear from the email and decide before we ask for sponsors? Or what are you thinking?
What do you mean email?
You had said you were looking for someone to try and get a sponsor or sponsors for the event itself?
Oh, I've already talked to Largo. I
Oh,
think
okay.
Largo Medical Center will probably be our sponsor. I
Oh,
think.
okay.
She's pretty sure Lover Medical Center will be our sponsor, so I think one big sponsor is probably all we need. And, yeah, I don't want to go supersonic, it's just a car show. You know, I don't, especially if we're planning on having another event, I think we should try to keep a handle on it.
Once
you know.
one a year is enough.
Yeah, one big event. I think one big event is good, you know, plus, if we're gonna try to put something together for like a family picnic thing, then, you know, I think we need to try to concentrate more on getting that underway, because that actually will be more work than the car show. So we want to keep the car show simple. The guys with the car shows, they like it simple anyhow.
Yeah.
Okay, they like to come, they like to stay close to the car, shoot the breeze with the other guys, maybe go look at some of the other cars, you know, get their little goodie bags, food, drinks, some music. That's pretty much it. I think we should maybe have a designated, because there might be some kids here, so I think we should have maybe a little designated area away from the cars of some kind of activity for them, but something that will not, I'm thinking those beanbag things again, if we can borrow those. What do they call those?
Cornhole, I guess they call
Cornholes.
them. They call
If
them
we can borrow
beanbag in
a few of those
Massachusetts.
cornholes,
Bag
and
toss.
we could set the cornholes up on the basketball court. I think that would be a nice little activity for everybody. We set up, I think Rick had two
You know,
of
talking
them.
about shuffleboard before, you can just have them painted on the basketball court.
Couldn't you do that if we did that with a different color? We could do that, and then we always have.
Yeah, it's always there.
Oh, that would be neat.
And it's very inexpensive if you have a flat surface, just to paint on it. I don't know
So it
how
could
the
be used
basketball players would.
Either or. It could be used for either or.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Yeah. All right, I'm making a note of it.
Anyway,
I've always wanted to do it. My grandfather had one. And,
they're kind
It
of
looks a
fun,
lot
they're
of
kind of
fun.
addictive.
I know. I saw the same people, and we thought about going down there. It's free. You can go down there and do it. We thought about doing it. Or Clearwater had one. Yeah, looks like fun. So, and that's something to be nice, because the only concern though with that is isn't that like a little like a hockey puck thing?
It's a wooden.
Yeah, around cars.
Yeah,
No, I'm
yeah.
thinking the beanbags.
Yeah, no, I'm not talking about for the car show. I'm just
Oh,
talking
okay.
about
General.
in general. If you
Oh, okay.
painted something on there,
Yeah, if it's painted on there, people can start
Can
having
have
their
it.
own
You can do it
Sure.
now.
sticks, and yeah, we could do it now.
yeah,
Yeah, I know there's money in the budget for something like that.
I don't know.
You know, we just have to get the approval from
Mhm.
Lynn and probably the council. But yeah, it's something to think about. It's definitely something to think about. Now, your bocce, does that get paid? That gets played on the concrete?
No,
Grass, right? Level
usually
grass.
an official court is actually on clay-like or something like that.
Oh, okay.
But I've seen them indoors with the fake grass and slight cushion underneath it, you know, and
Mhm.
seen them on grass. I mean, that's what I always played, grass. It's real
Other
easy.
hotels have them.
Oh, really?
They have hotels, but they have like the fake grass.
Yeah.
And they have it, you know, they have people playing
Right.
that on
Yeah.
there.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. All right, so we've talked about the car show, so all other business. Any other business we want to discuss?
Well, I think we've drifted in and out of it.
I think we have drifted it out. but
Annual
that's the
calendar.
nice about being
Yeah,
an
annual
advisory
calendar.
board.
Yeah.
That's a nice thing about being an advisory board. A little more flexible, so. I just think that, I would like to mention that, you know, when we talk about scheduling things and, putting things together, I think we should try to, continue to reach out to other people to give us a hand, because, you know, we are a small group. Some of
Mhm.
these events can be a lot of work. So we do have a lot of resources and talent in this city, and I'd like to see us start getting more people involved in helping with all these, you know, different events. I mean, somebody might like, you know, I mean, Councilmember Gaddis, he showed up for the festival, but he had something else going on that day. But he's able to dedicate for this, and this is kind of, I mean, women do like car shows too, but prominently, usually a guy, okay? So why not utilize the fact that the guys like the car shows and hone in on that and get more involvement and help from the guys, okay,
No,
on
I
those
agree.
things. Okay, where maybe the Christmas thing is more of a woman's thing.
Yes.
You know, the kids' little Christmas thing is more of a woman's thing. So we kind of hone in on, you know, so I think, so we kind of have to always be thinking about who should we be reaching out to try to get more help for these events, because we are just a small group. We want to keep these events going and keep the volunteers coming, you know, all the time. And not everybody will want to help for every event. We have been fortunate, we have set people that have helped for every single event or have showed, which is, we're very fortunate, but it might come at a time we might not have that. So if we just keep generating more and more volunteers to these things, I think would be a great.
Do you think advertising for help in that regard on
I
next
think-
door would be appropriate or not?
I think when we talk about the event, we put the flyer out for the event, whatever the event is. I think if you're a resident and would like to help, I think we can put that on the flyer if you'd like to volunteer. You know, contact us at, you know.
Perfect, that's a perfect
and-
idea.
And do that, yes. And just so you know, when if someone says to you that we are not allowed to advertise outside the city, we are allowed to advertise outside the city. It's actually in our charter and our rules. We are allowed to. We're not trying to reach the outside, the city traffic when we do this, okay? But if we don't use these kinds of resources that are available to us to advertise for the event for our residents, not everybody gets that city email. Not everybody you see how I keep pushing for people to sign up for the email list,
Right.
the city's newsletter, and this is why.
There are a lot
If
of
we
people
can get
that,
enough people starting to set up and sign up for that, then we won't be having to do so much of an outside kind of advertisement for our events.
there are a lot of people that chimed in after the event after the festival, the fall festival, who said, "Oh, I wish I had known about it.
Right,
I
right.
didn't know. It sounded nice."
Right, right. But we are allowed to advertise, so, you know, I was kind of bullied by somebody saying that we weren't, and I've done some homework, and someone else did some homework, and we are totally legal with that, and I'm going on the record in saying that.
No matter
So
what we
if they're
do, someone's
listening
going
to
to
this
complain
meeting-
about it. I mean,
Huh?
no matter what we do, someone will complain
Oh,
about it.
yes, and
Just-
I'm
you
always
just have to
prepared
have
for
a
that, but
thicker
that
skin.
person was hounding me and being nasty, and so this will hopefully nip that in the bud. So anyhow, I don't have anything else, just if we could go, please, I ask that everybody, if you can, you know, definitely take a look, for many reasons. And when you're looking at this, you can see, I don't know when's the last time y'all really took a hard look at the park. The park needs a lot of work. So even if we can't get the grant money or we get some of the grant money, I mean, even if we had say a citywide work day on the park, it wouldn't hurt if the city council would allow it. I can't commit to anything without their approval, but that's something that we probably should take a look at.
Well, can't have
only
a work
two
day unless we have.
DPW people, okay? So we don't have a lot of money, but there's so much dense woods here. All these trees, all this stuff, if we didn't have it, okay, if it wasn't so dense there, we wouldn't probably have like rodents hanging around, which draws the coyotes. We've been hearing complaints about coyotes.
They're everywhere. I've
They
seen them
are
by
everywhere.
my
They
house.
are, yeah, no, we saw one too. But what I'm saying to you is, somebody said at the council meeting the other night, they saw 9 coyotes in this park, 9,
In this park?
in this park.
So you're
I'm
saying,
surprised.
So
because
there
there's no-
has to be a food source if they're traveling in a path like that in this area. So-
Between the raccoons, the rats, and the coyotes, they strip my mango tree every year.
Exactly, so.
I have hundreds of mangoes, thousands,
Yeah,
and
They eat it.
I lose about 80% of them.
Oh my God.
You
They
can
climb
s-
up in the trees and they eat it, or they
The
just
raccoons will go up, the coyotes will get the ones that they can reach,
yeah,
the rats will get
Wow.
up way up top,
yeah,
and the squirrels are fighting with them.
yeah, yeah.
And I just kind of give up. I said, well,
But you know, the key here is with the coyotes, okay, you know, if there's not a food source, they're not gonna hang around. So if, you know, they're
I'm
just
surprised
not.
there were
So
that many here.
If we do things to help eliminate their food source, they're not gonna hang around.
So how do we do that here? By trimming all the trees?
We trim all those trees, clean out all that dense wood there, okay? See all how dense that is over there?
I don't think you can.
Yes, we can.
They
Yes,
get
we
a
can.
pair of clippers.
And here's the other thing too.
Those
We
are,
have not all of it. There's some that is not that. It's not,
There's a lot of mangroves in there,
yeah, but not all of
and
it.
they're protected.
Not all the mangroves are there. That's not all mangroves. And the other thing too is, you know, the water will flow in there. When we get pockets of water, it sits and we get
Mosquitoes.
mosquitoes breeding. Or the mud is not drying out and they're laying their eggs in it. And as soon as water stands, they pop off. So you know, they have to be cleared out so the water can flow in, the ground can dry out, and even if it comes in and out like that. So
The new
so
fishing pier will allow us to cut a lot of that out, I think.
that'd be good. That'd be good.
Because
But
it's-
if we can keep that trimmed up, and that serves several purposes too. You know, we had somebody say, well, you know, they're worried about homeless. Well, if it's all dense like that, where do you think they're going to go? Okay, they're going to go where this wood, it's wooded like this. Okay, if you take away a place for them to hide, to sleep, to whatever, then they're going to move on. Okay,
So-
just like the critters. So, you know, it's just, so when you take a look at these things, maybe write some notes down. You know, that this was my hopes, that we would go from park to park to park and start making notes of some things we'd like to see, some improvements we need to see done. But I think we just need to concentrate on this one right now, for the simple fact is we have the grant that's current, we have an event coming up, and the city council and the city manager is all working on some other heavy topics right now. So, you know, we don't want to overtax the city, so.
Do we currently have a budget for Park and Rec, our own budget from the money that was raised from the
We actually
Christmas,
have
the
about,
festival?
about $1,500 still left over.
So do we have our own budget? Do you have your own?
Yeah,
Okay.
it's, yeah, we have that. I mean, there is actually $6,000 or $8,000 in the city's budget for the Parks and Rec. Okay, for events. Our goal is not, remember I said that in the very beginning, it's never to hit that money. So we have like $1,500 or $1,600 left over though from the festival money to try to spread out
Good,
for
okay.
all the
That's a
different
start.
events throughout the year. Yeah,
Good,
correct.
good.
Yeah.
That's what we wanted anyway.
That's exactly what we want. I would have liked another $500 padding is what I would have liked because, you know, but
Next year.
yeah. Well, and we'll see, maybe the car show sponsorship might pan out for
Yeah.
us a little bit more, and that would give us that padding that I was hoping to get. So it would help pay for the other events, because when we talk about putting on a picnic and things like that, my goal is for us to, because we're gonna be doing the cooking, I think we should be supplying the hot thing, and then maybe, you know, cold stuff, everybody brings something,
I
but
think the last time it was just kind of a gathering, and people
Everyone
cook
brings
their
their
own.
stuff.
They just lit up the grills and stuff like that, and they're there for you to cook your meal or not. If you don't want it,
Yep.
Food,
Bring
don't
your
cook.
own stuff.
everybody's
Yeah.
counting on themselves.
Yeah.
It's just they had the grills available
that's good.
and it turned on.
That's good, but now was it a park board that put it together?
I can't remember.
See, so then there's a different set of rules. That's my point. So we would be putting it on as the park board, which means we represent the city, which means there's some legalities there. So So.
It was a citywide
I think-
event. I don't know if the
I
park
think
board
the
was
city would
involved.
have to do, like, we would physically have to do the cooking, like our park board would have to do the cooking. Or something. Again, I'm not gonna commit until I talk to Lynn and see what the rules would be on something like
Having a
that.
food truck or something like that, so you
Yeah.
wouldn't have to be committed to cooking for all those people
Right.
in the heat.
Well, and here's the thing too, I mean, if you get a sponsor for it, the sponsor might do the cooking. You know, if we could get a sponsor, they might supply the person to cook, you know, the people, the employees to do the cooking. And then they take on the liability, see? So then they supply like an insurance thing and so forth, so, you know. But that being said too, when we start getting these sponsors, we have to make sure that we keep promoting their businesses because they've sponsored us. So we just have to keep, you know, giving back and promoting them and going and you know, going to their restaurants for meals and things like that, and then pointing out, hey, you know, I'm from Bel Air Beach, I was on the park, I just want you to know that I appreciate you sponsoring us and I brought my family here to eat, you know, or I brought my wife here to eat, or, you know, so, yeah, so we're giving back as well, so, okay, so, I don't have anything else unless you all do.
No?
Okay, so we will adjourn the meeting.
All those in favor?
Yeah, I'm sorry, all those in favor?
Hi.
All those opposed? No? Meeting adjourned.